Ladies and gentlemen, imagine if Greg Gutfeld, or any comedian, Joe Rogan, anyone, Bill Maher, any comedian out there, Dave Chappelle, one of the greats of all time. Imagine if they made a joke about AOC. Imagine if they said, gosh, where's Will Smith when you need him? Pertaining to something Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez stated. Oh my God, the left, the wonderful, morally superior, beautiful, absolutely amazing liberal Democrats, they're such good people. They're such tolerant, wonderful human beings. They would be livid. They would be completely indignant. Twitter would light up. They would demand that the comedian be sent to The Hague for crimes against humanity. Marjorie Taylor Greene reports Jimmy Kimmel to police over Will Smith joke. New York Post. Congress. Okay, so then you have the Daily Beast, which is like, what does this non sequitur have, like this congresswoman who downplayed the Capitol is very concerned about a joke. Okay, you can downplay or obsess. That's completely irrelevant. All the Daily Beast and every other publication, mainstream publication, Washington Post, New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, who are composed of liberal Democrats, downplayed a whole month of what, $1 to $2 billion in property damage, according to Wikipedia, and 25 lives lost all throughout that summer. So I'm not the biggest, by the way, I'm not a fan, I can't say that I'm a fan of Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think that oftentimes she says a lot of things that make no sense at all. But she's right. She's 100% right to notify the police, whether it's the Capitol Police or I have no clue. Let's see, what is she? To notify the police against Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel, with his joke, like if you live in a world where if you say something if Trump says something, he's emboldening other people to commit crimes. He's telling people to commit crimes even though he says the word peaceful. See, with Trump or conservatives or Trump supporters or Trump Republicans, anything they say equates to impressionable, gullible Trump supporters without any willpower, without any independent or free will, just like lemmings doing whatever Trump says. That's according to morally superior, wonderful Democrats. If Trump says something, he's emboldening, he is promoting a negative mindset or telling people to commit crimes. If Jimmy Kimmel does it, who was, by the way, you could look at his career from the Man Show to a very, very horrible skit where he performed, I'm not even going to get into it, but he should have been canceled a long time ago. The Lincoln Project people should have for opposing marriage equality. All of these people should have. Okay, you have Bernie Sanders, who didn't even endorse one of the people at the Young Turks. Okay, had to unendorse him. The morally superior liberal Democrats are full of people, wonderful people, who have said and done things that should have erased them from history according to the rules written by the Democratic Party. Now, if you judge Jimmy Kimmel in the manner any other comedian would be judged, I mean, you look at how would AOC react? How would Pelosi react? How would and here is a female Republican politician. If it was a Democrat, a female Democrat, oh my God, it would be absolute, horror. It would be misogyny. It would be you're asking for a violent repercussions. You're telling people to commit crimes, but they get away with it. And so what is the Daily Beast saying? So she shouldn't be worried about somebody trying to pull a Will Smith because she didn't view January in the same manner as liberals? Because those same liberal Democrats didn't view curfews every single night. They didn't care. It was fiery but peaceful, according to CNN. So you have like the most disingenuous, duplicitous mindset. Yeah, were there different reasons? Sure, and I agree with I agree with why people were demonstrating in the summer. but nothing is worth $1 to $2 billion in property damage and 25 lives lost. And if you say, well, yeah, of course it is for a good cause, well, it's not your life. If you're a wonderful far left, beautiful person, it's not your life, God forbid. It's not your property. You wouldn't want your property, your car, your house, or anything to do with you damaged or destroyed for any cause, no matter how good the cause was. So you have a situation where Jimmy Kimmel made a joke at Marjorie Taylor Greene's expense, but it was a nasty, Jimmy Kimmel, hit subscribe to this channel, by the way, right now. Jimmy Kimmel has devoted his life. We had Arsenio Hall and Johnny Carson for decades, okay? Johnny Carson for decades and decades, and Arsenio Hall for about a decade or so. And they went after, if they did talk about politics, it was just a funny joke everybody could laugh at. It wasn't mean-spirited. You notice Jimmy Kimmel's not talking about wealth inequality or crime or homelessness or the fact that Ukraine is being invaded while the president he voted for is in office. Okay, so a Democrat in the Oval Office is presiding over all the catastrophes and the horrors that were supposed to have taken place with Trump, who was installed by the Kremlin, according to these people. They're the ones who believe lies and myths and hoaxes and bogus, absurd propaganda spins. And then they say, oh my God, Marjorie Taylor Greene, oh my God, all of these people, it is despicable, it's loathsome, oh my God. You have Seth Meyers, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert. You have, if the Democratic Party didn't have the Washington Post, the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, Jimmy Kimmel, Seth Meyers, all of Hollywood, Twitter, every social media algorithm suppressing and silencing stories like Hunter's laptop 2 years ago, they wouldn't exist as a political party. Their ideas don't resonate. They need to coerce and enforce. They need to ensure that they can bully or coerce or, force their ideas upon society, because most of their ideas are, completely irrational or they don't work. So, case in point, Biden comes in, he says, we're going to decarbonize the economy, and then immediately jettisons all the, combating climate change rhetoric and says, oh gosh, strategic oil reserves, we have to, pump the economy full of that because, oil and gas and fossil fuels are now a geopolitical topic of discussion. But of course, he comes to that conclusion because he's forced to, because Democrats don't really have an actual vision. They have media and a certain bucket list of things that they want to accomplish. And they have a small, like a time frame that's dwindling. They will be booted out of Congress. Both the House and the Senate will be Trump Republican. They're going to be investigated. And it doesn't matter what, if Jimmy Kimmel already devotes his entire life. Trump still won. Republicans will still take over the House and Senate. Democrats have not passed any major legislation. I mean, that's a fact. They have not passed any, from Medicare for all to Green New Deal legislation, anything, all the things they talked about, a student loan, nothing that they talked about and obsessed over, they passed. And what they do is they rely on 1 to 4 million sub channels. Millennial CNN. So it goes Washington Post, New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, your favorite wonderful, amazing, morally superior YouTube pundit. And it's just the same thing. Republicans are bad. Marjorie Taylor Greene is horrible. Biden and all Democrats are great. And it's a religion. It's become religious dogma. And they don't see. Inflation is through the roof. It's soaring. Gas prices are through the roof. They're directly a response of Biden's horrendous policies. Okay, you don't go into the Oval Office trying to decarbonize the economy and then say, gee, why are gas prices up? That's bizarre. You don't do that. You don't make it more difficult for oil and gas companies to operate and then say, well, gee, why are gas prices up? But maybe it has to do with your policies. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Jimmy Kimmel made a terrible, threatening comment, basically asking somebody to commit bodily or violent or bodily harm. And instead of outrage, the hypocrites, the absolute hypocrites on Twitter will say, oh, well, it's no problem. No problem. Okay? Imagine if it was AOC. Imagine. you know what should happen? AOC should defend Marjorie Taylor Greene. Ain't going to happen, though, because they don't run by value system. Hit subscribe to this channel right now.